Hello, welcome to Wrestle Wolf. I'm your host, Damien Gibson. What do we do here? We go through wrestling Twitter, so you don't have to. I have been working on a couple of longer form videos, so that's why I've been off the old channel for a few weeks, but I appreciate the views and the new subscriptions. Thank you very much. Dude, in the last couple of months, my watch is popping off. Everything is popping off. In the last couple of days, there has been a huge groundswell behind the CM Punk and WWE rumors. For anyone who doesn't know, CM Punk hasn't been on WWE TV for 2 months. There's a lot of different reporting going on. Not necessarily initially when I heard the rumors or the story, I was like, oh, he's had another fight with somebody. Because Phil can lose his temper pretty quickly over a whole bunch of things. If you followed him in Ring of Honor, you know. If you followed him in WWE the first time, you know. If you followed him in AEW, you know. But this is more, it seems like it's more about pay and artistic direction. He was lobbying for a different kind of match at WrestleMania, but the main story the main thing that popped off to me is that there's reporting going on that he was asked to have his pay halved by TKO, allegedly. There's no hard evidence for this, but it's wrestling, so everybody leaks everything. These stories are getting out, and they're getting out to people who have talked about Punk stuff in the past. A lot of people who were correct about where Punk was at after the Kenny Omega Young Bucks debacle are also talking about how Punk is not happy at WWE, and especially if he was asked to take a pay cut. Anyone who follows the channel, I don't really watch WWE. I do pay attention to what's going on over there backstage a bit. But from what I was seeing, and I know this because every time I would see it sort of talked about, it would cut me a little bit because I was a massive CM Punk fan. When he came to AEW, it was one of the more exciting times in my life as a wrestling fan. And then all hell broke loose. The people that I loved the most in AEW, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, had a massive falling out with CM Punk over numerous reasons that ended supposedly in a fight in a locker room. They were both suspended from TV. They came back. No one really made up. And then there was this Cold War between Punk's camp and the Elite camp. Basically, anyone who was friends with CM Punk has jumped ship as well. So Will Hobbs was a mate of Punk's, Malachi Black, Ricky Starks, Danhausen. All these guys were very much Team Punk. They've all moved to WWE. It would be, and as far as I can see, Punk's been a draw. And he always has been. Like he has always been a draw. He adds an air of legitimacy in the main event scene in AEW, in WWE, sorry. Well, he did in AEW as well. So it would be absolutely insane to me that he was asked to take a pay cut. Now, the only explanation for that would be that basically everybody except Roman Reigns was asked to take a pay cut. And Cody Rhodes. That seems to be because the reason why the New Day have left and supposedly coming to AEW is because they were asked to take a 50% pay cut. 50. So just imagine about your own paycheck and your boss came to you and said, let's say you're on 60K Australian a year and your boss came to you and said, look, we want you to keep working here, but we want you to do it for 30K. Yeah, you just couldn't, you wouldn't do it. I mean, it's slightly different here because these guys get paid very well, but if it's going all the way up to CM Punk, you could imagine that he is ropeable. Now, listen, I did go to school to study journalism, so just for um, clarity and to put the other side out there, there's a very good chance that Punk has been put on the sidelines for a couple of months after WrestleMania for a rest. However, that is something AEW does a lot. That is not something that the WWE do a lot. WWE very much have a grind mindset because of course they do, because they're MAGA bros. You know what I mean? What wake and grind, man. Wake and grind. This is the same company that told Will Ospreay that he didn't have the balls to be able to do the grind. So the idea that they would give CM Punk time off, unless he was injured, but there's no reporting around that either. So anyway, I was keeping an eye on this, sort of thinking, well, it'd be interesting. I mean, Punk is the kind of person who, if he was unhappy, he would leave. He's done it before. He has other strings to his bow. He was gone from wrestling for 7 years. He did MMA commentating. He did acting. He wrote comic books. He seemed to be living quite a happy life. And I just wonder if maybe after a while of being in WWE, not being booked perhaps the way that he would like and having to deal, even though it seems like he's buried the hatchet with Triple H to some degree, having to work with someone who, as far as I'm aware and stories that I've been told, they do not like each other at all. To have him and his people or his bosses come to him and go, listen, you've done great work here. Thank you so much for coming across. We want you to take a 50% pay cut. Phil Brooks is the kind of person who would blow it all up. He's not going to just cop that and leave. So then I was thinking, well, what would be next? I mean, if this is true and he is going to move on, I mean, New Japan maybe? He's not going to go to Impact, and there's no way that he's going to go to AEW, or is there? So I wake up this morning, and the first thing that I see on X is AEW sources gave Fightful Select, and Fightful Select is someone that I trust very much. That's Sean Ross Sapp, probably the second best wrestling journalist, maybe the best actual journalist going around. It's between him and Meltzer. AEW sources gave Fightful Select the never say never line when asked if CM Punk had burned a bridge with the company. A lot more details regarding his absence from WWE now available for select subscribers. Now, I'm not saying that Punk is going to go back to AEW. I think that would be it would be crazy. It would be crazy. But there is a massive but here. If you could get Punk in the room, essentially, the other people that would need to be in the room from an AEW standpoint would be Tony Khan, obviously. Jack Perry, who had a physical altercation with Punk, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. And then I think there would need to be two other people in the room here to make sure that all of this is cool and legit. And they are Bryan Danielson, who was essentially part or head of, they essentially had like a wrestlers tribunal sort of thing, or not a wrestler tribunal, but Tony went and got people from within the company to sort of oversee an investigation into Punk and all this sort of stuff to determine whether he could stay in the company. And Bryan supposedly was the secretary or the head of that investigation. So he would need to be there, and they would need to be cool with each other to move forward, because Bryan is a part of AEW. How much of a part, I'm not sure. There seems to be some talk that he's involved in producing and all that kind of thing. Tony Khan has talked about Bryan Danielson being the only person that he would hand the company over to. So I think that would need to be there. And the other person is Chris Jericho. Now, why do I say Chris Jericho? The whole time that CM Punk was in AEW, there seemed to be a lot of Jericho-affiliated people online talking a lot about CM Punk. It's well documented that the two of them don't particularly get along either. Having said that, there's a lot of people in the AEW that don't get along with CM Punk. So that would need to happen. They would all need to tick off on it, make sure that they've buried the hatchet, and then present it as a, hey, listen, Phil's gone to the other side. It didn't work out well for him. He's back. He's apologetic, and then Punk would need to do that work to get people on side. Because I would say that the trust levels with CM Punk in the AEW locker room, and don't miscount this or discount this, the AEW fandom is zero. And this is coming from a person who loves CM Punk. And I'm not going to lie, when I saw this headline and it said "Never Say Never," there is a part of me that went, "Whoop." So I'm not completely ruling this out as something that would be exciting to see. Having said that, AEW is very hot at the moment. They're doing the best booking that they've done in a long time. Crowd numbers are slowly creeping back up. TV numbers are definitely going back up. Pay-per-view buys are amazing. Critical reviews are through the roof. You never had a wrestling show be more critically acclaimed than AEW. And it seems to be on the back of a core, on the men's side of the division anyway, a core 10 to 15 guys who are all on the same page, all working towards the same goal, which is for AEW to be the best wrestling promotion on earth. Mick Foley talked about how the AEW locker room reminded him of the locker room in the Attitude Era, that everyone was slightly competing, but also trying to do the best they could to bring out the best in everybody else. Does CM Punk flip that upside down? I would have to say yes. I'd have to say yes. I just don't. I don't see that becoming a. I don't see Punk changing that side of his personality. I just don't. If everything was hunky dory and everyone was super happy with it and everyone could work with it and it was going to be cool, then AEW would be absolutely insane to not get CM Punk back on their books. But I think from an optics standpoint, it does look a little bit like AEW becomes the place where people run off to when things aren't going well at WWE as well. So there's quite a bit to take in. I think for a lot of people, just the idea of Punk even being spoken about in the same breath of AEW would be shocking, like in the wrestling sense, but legitimately shocking that this is even being talked about. The sources at AEW say never say never. Now, that could just be to wind up the situation, just drop that in and walk away because they know that the situation is, taut between WWE and Punk, and so just drop a little hand grenade in there and walk away. That could be what's happening as well. But am I discounting this? I don't know. There's something in my waters that the fact that this is coming from Fightful, the fact that it said never say never, that the source said never say never, and the fact that CM Punk is one of the most unpredictable people in the history of wrestling. Watch this space. This could happen. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, if you like the channel, you're liking what you're seeing, click subscribe. That's the best way to help me at the moment. Like as well, but subscriptions is the way to go.